Alrighty, folks. It's Wednesday, the 11th. It's a little after 7:30, 25 of 8. Alright, so I got till 10 of 8. Still in pain. Sunday will be 6 weeks, and I gotta wait another week and go back to the surgeon. He said, give it a couple more weeks. So I just stay medicated to bear with the pain because it still hurts and I lose sleep over it. So I nap in the afternoon sometimes. So I'm just going to do a little thing out of just because I'm bored. I haven't done a video for a few days because all the videos I was doing, I was medicated. And the next day, I mean, this would just hurt extra all the next day. But I didn't care. I'd medicate again and I'd do another video. So for a while there, I did like a half a dozen of them or whatever. And a few days ago I'm there, I couldn't even play. It just hurts too much. So, but I want to just share a little bit of knowledge again, things I go over now and then, but this is tuned down a whole step. It's tuned down, so it's an E is D. D, G, C, F, A, D. That's just all of them tuned down, you know, from an E to a D, from an A to a G, from a D to a C, just a whole step. 2 frets worth, okay? So I'm going to take do a little lesson on just taking your simple minor pentatonic and depending on the chords that you'll be playing to, how you can make things more tasteful in a groove. Like say a simple, I favor mixolydian, but I also do dorian. I do all the modes at one time or another, but I favor that mixolydian, dorian, and the minor pentatonic and the pentatonic with a flat 5. Regular pentatonic. And I always tell you guys or suggest that you learn it on the whole fretboard. Anything, learn it on the whole fretboard, so you can go anywhere. Okay, so we'll do a pentatonic with a flat 5. Learn it everywhere it is on the fretboard. It just gives you more in your arsenal, you know. Make up so many things with that. I mean, rock and roll hoochie coo, you know, is a big one with that flat 5, but it's an A. This is tuned down a whole step. I gotta be careful how I move this. So anyways, back to the key of E. This is tuned down a whole step. That, you know, you've got any one of these things that you get down on the whole fretboard, that's what you've got to work with. And if you do play them everywhere, you get to hear what they sound like. And then you got dorian. It's really the second position of, it's D major. All the E dorian is D major. If you started at the D, I'm playing this note here. But you can use E Dorian, and again, so if you learn all the scale blocks of D major, you can rip it up with E Dorian, weaving in and out of all the scale blocks of D major for that flavor. You know, and you can use it in a lot of things. It's just kind of like a minor but major possibility. Got something with it? That's just E minor to a 7 to A. But there's another thing about all these things too, with creating things. It's finding the right voicing of any given chord. You got E minor here, which is fine, but for this type of thing, what I'm playing, this is the best voicing for it. So that's another thing to learn. Learn all kinds of different variations of your E minor, for example. Find all the there's tons. Now in this case, we're not using E natural minor. E Dorian is not E natural minor. E natural minor comes from all the scale blocks of G major. That's where your E. So when somebody's got a jam going on with something that would be out of E natural minor, now this may sound a little out. It's tuned down a whole step and they're 9. So that it's about understanding where E minor comes from. It's all the scale blocks of G major. And so then on the Dorian, I wanted to say something about this. That's from D major. So I can go anywhere. B natural minor is also D major. B natural minor is also E Dorian. It's also a mix. All 7 modes are in each block. Just a note you start with an end on. See, that's B minor. But if you start with the E note and still play the B minor scale, that's what it is. That's the secret. On any scale that comes from a major key and has 7 scale blocks of that you can weave in and out of and rip to that for that one modal flavor. But taking now just a simple thing like Dorian and learn how to bend also to add more flavor. And a good way to practice it is half step bend is just 1 fret's worth. You play the note you want to match. So you got. I might be off a little bit. Again, like I said, these are very loose because of the pain I'm playing with. Like I said, I couldn't play the guitar for a few days because of the pain. There's all kinds of things you can sit there and just milk. I call it milking just one scale or one modal idea. Anyways, so that's Dorian, and then mixolydian. One of my favorites is major 30. That's all the scale blocks of A major. go E to E, playing the A major scale. So if I go, I'm going to start here with the E and play the A major scale. And just go to E, E to E, you hear the mixolydian. It almost sounds like the major scale, but it's not. This is the difference of the note, is if out of A major, E mixolydian is E natural, pure E major. You got that D sharp or E flat in there instead of the D. It's just that one note difference. All the rest of the notes are the same. And let me see, I think. Yeah, that's the different note. Anyway, so mixolydian, you go in all the scale blocks of A major for E mixolydian. B dorian, C sharp Phrygian block. That's if you start with that note and end with it. But all A major, but going E to E of the A major key, you know. You know, so I could do something with an A, D, and an E, the simplest thing to play a mixolydian in. F sharp natural minor, that's from A major, that's the natural minor scale. But it's also E mixolydian. Going to E to E becomes E mixolydian. I'm just hacking, but I just wanted to, you know, do something to throw out there just so you guys know I'm still alive. And another week or so I'll go see the surgeon. They'll scan this thing and see what they can do. Have a good night, folks.